This is Let's Talk Big, the big read with Jane Berger and Jen Hazel. The Owens Community College Campus Big Read is taking place now and throughout the semester, with the goal of bringing awareness of different perspectives through books. The Campus Read book is A Little Less Broken, How an Autism Diagnosis Finally Made Me Whole by Marian Schembari. It's the story of one woman's decades-long journey to a diagnosis of autism and the barriers that keep too many neurodivergent people from knowing their true selves. Now, sharing passages, topics, and events related to the book are Director of Library Services, Jane Berger, and Professor of English, Jen Hazel.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Big. At our last episode, we talked with Marian about identity, diagnosis, and the experience of coming to understand yourself in a new way. Today, we're going to continue that conversation, but really dive into turning outward, thinking about misconceptions, belonging, and what it really looks like to be more supportive and have inclusive spaces in our classrooms and communities. So, Jane,
are you ready for round two? I've got another question.
I'm ready.
All right. What are some of the biggest misconceptions about autism, especially in women or in late diagnoses, that you most want to challenge?
There's too many. It's impossible to answer that question because there's so many. We think that autism looks like one thing, or at least we have up until recently. And I do think things are changing. So we had this idea that an autistic person is a boy, always a child, as if autistic children don't grow into autistic adults. It's weird. So we think autism is just in children. We think it's a boy. He's obsessed with trains. He speaks in movie quotes. He flaps his hands. That's it. And he has meltdowns in public, and then we're all embarrassed by them, right? That's the big misconception about autism, is that it only looks like that. Now, that is definitely changing for the positive, I think. And late diagnoses in women has definitely, it hit this peak of quote unquote trendiness. I hate that phrase. I don't have another word for it. But so we were talking a lot about late diagnosed autistic people, and the backlash to that is that now we think autism is quirky girls in their 30s who are trying to excuse bad behavior. So that now there's this new autism misconception that it's like a weird girl. And that's tricky too, right? We don't know how to hold space for the breadth of human experience. And I would definitely, I've met so many autistic people at this point that I both could and could not pick them out of a crowd. Once I get to know someone, I'm like, oh, you're definitely autistic, whether you know it or not. But then on the flip side, I'm often surprised by the people who disclose their diagnoses to me. I have a hard time going to dance parties, but another autistic person loves the sensory stimulation of loud music, right? We are very, very different in our symptoms, in our presentations, in our sensory desires and aversions. So I think just in general, people keeping an open mind about what autism can look like is probably the most important part of this.
Yeah, I think yes, that I cannot say that enough. We had a student of actually Jane's, where Jane has worked at a middle school before, as in her story, and the student actually came who was nonverbal autistic, and had wrote out a speech on her AAC device. And what was interesting is when I met the mom for the first time, she found it fascinating that the speaker was able to, she struggled with executive functioning things, and my son is fabulous with executive functioning, but she does really, school was very easy for her, and he struggles with school. And it's so interesting to think about how, okay, here we are, same diagnosis and same level and everything, but it looks so vastly different. People have such a hard time seeing that,
because I think it is so unique to each individual. It's not like if you have COVID, okay, pretty much have, maybe 3 of the 5 symptoms, they're
sure
basic. This, it's not all the same. It looks so different for so many different people, and how it manifests itself and how it comes out in those individuals, like you said, between your son and She was just such an amazing, I mean, he just turned 20. She came with her mom, I think, 3 different times to the auditorium where she was going to present because she wanted to get the feel, the smell, like everything. So
Perfect.
that it was, yeah, so that it was familiar, for her. And she was great. The one thing that we did not recreate for her were the people in the audience. So
Yeah.
she showed up. She couldn't do it. So her mom went up and just played the recording, and it was great.
The
That's
students
perfect.
were still
Yep.
so moved by it and having like just a different understanding of,
Yeah.
I think it's just because honestly, some of it is that spectrum because it looks so different. So people want to like just say it looks like one way.
It's hard to wrap your head around and get an understanding. And I think the more we talk about it, the more we see it and how it is different for everyone, it's easier for everyone to keep it in mind.
Yeah.
So, so I really think especially education places where understanding shape, experiences and opportunities. I think what we really want to really, and I think we've really tried this year to do this is like, and we'd love what you have to say on this, Marian, is for educators and institutions, what does it look like to move beyond the idea of accommodation and towards creating spaces where neurodivergent individuals feel like they truly belong?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a big one. It is.
Man, that is a big one. I am not an educator. And I see like my daughter's teachers, right? She's in elementary school and how hard they work and how few resources they have. That when she comes home telling me kind of something shitty the teacher did, I really just have a lot of empathy for the teacher. I went into the classroom once, maybe when June was in 2nd grade, to like read a book to them over the holidays.
Mhm.
Oh my God, 5 minutes. I was like, get me out of here. I hate this. I cannot be in front of this many like screaming children. So I know we're talking about older kids, but it's hard. It's hard to write a lesson plan, to lead a group in learning something when each person in that group is an individual. So I think that that's really hard. And I don't have any ideas because I know nothing about education. I can only speak about my own experiences and the most harm that teachers have caused me or caused my kid is always in how that teacher talks to me or talks to my daughter. So my daughter the other day was asked a question in class, and she has a lot of social anxiety, and talking in front of a group of 30 kids is not her strength. And you could make the argument that forcing her to learn public speaking is an important part of her growth and education. You could say that. I don't think it is. My husband hates public speaking, and he's like a successful 41-year-old man. So I don't actually think that's an important skill for her to have. And the teacher was really cruel to her in how she talked to her, right? My daughter could not answer the question. She completely froze up. And the teacher said, well, you've had enough time to think. Why aren't you talking? And so I really think that we look to educators so often as role models. And I think often teachers get caught up in how much can I teach you? And what are your grades? And how is everyone behaving in the exact same way? And I think even just having 10% more grace for people's differences just in how we talk to them has the biggest difference. Because like I said, the most harm that was caused to me is teachers saying cruel things to me. Well, why can't you do this? And you're a bad kid and everyone else is doing this fine. That's not helpful. And so even without that teacher giving me a specific accommodation, right? Oh, go take your test in a quiet room. Forgetting that completely, just talk to me like I'm trying my best because I am.
I love that. And, I'm probably going to ask you this question again when you come to visit.
Can't wait.
And thinking about this, think about places where, listen to me, like giving her pre-info to
Right.
think about this.
I'll take it happily.
Places where you, and not necessarily in education, but places where you've been, where you have felt like you belong.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've got so many great examples.
Hold those and we'll
Yep.
ask them. So
Yep.
that way people will
Yep.
definitely come to see you. So
Okay.
hold those because that is something then we can think about replicating within that. But
Oh, I can't wait. This is such a good question. And I have
So-
really
and
good ones.
She's going to be your interviewer.
I know, I heard, and I'm now that we're like actually chatting, I'm like really so thrilled about it.
Yeah, because Fred, I am not a camera person. I am not someone to talk off. I mean, I'm passionate about our themes and our topics, and I could talk one-on-one for hours. Put a camera in front of me.
Yeah, well, Jen can do it. Why can't you?
Yeah, you're right. Right.
Exactly. That
Sorry, that was so mean. That was like a really bad joke.
No, we
But
totally get what,
yeah. So that's one of the reasons we work so well together, because she doesn't mind if I just say, yeah, you go do that.
I know, but it's not without a lot of effort because I'm actually an introvert, even though most people think of me as an extrovert.
He's got
So-
that.
But I have, yes, that is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
So anyway, though, really thinking about that, we're going to dive into our last question. And Jane, I'm going to let you have that question. No, it's yours anyway.
I was
'cause
going to
it's the
say,
odd
wait a minute.
number.
Did I lose track?
No, it's just me. I was being silly.
The title suggests from feeling broken to something more whole. What does being a little less broken mean to you now? And what do you hope readers will carry with them after reading your story?
I feel like my diagnosis, being autistic, this like whole identity, I never think about it anymore. And that's what being less broken feels like to me, is that it does not cross my mind. I was talking to my husband recently and I was complaining about some like terrible experience I had. Can't even remember what it was. And he's like, yeah, babe, but you're autistic. So obviously you can't blah, blah, blah. And I was shocked for a second. I was like, what? I'm autistic. It really doesn't cross my mind anymore because I have set up my life with all this information. It has been 4 years, almost 5 years since my diagnosis at this point. I don't think about it. It is so integrated into my life. My daughter wants to go to Disneyland. No, thank you. That's not something I'm doing. There's a, dance party at a friend's house. No, thank you. That's not what I'm doing. I want to socialize with some friends. Come to my house and we will have tea and you will be gone by 9 p.m. because that's when I go to bed and that's when my routine starts and it cannot start later than 9 p.m. So I really have like fully, my life is so structured in the way that I really, really enjoy and that I don't have screaming meltdowns anymore. Like I haven't since my diagnosis. I really, really, really have shaped a life around it to the point where it is now invisible. And that's really like the social model of disability, right? That it's not really the disability that makes you disabled, but the environment around it.
Yep.
And so for me, being a little less broken really means not thinking about it at all.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
No, I love that because really, now that you have also given yourself the grace to be able to say, I don't feel like I have to do X. Because I'm assuming a lot of that felt like I have to show up. And
Yeah, guilt and shoulds and horrible.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Instead of being like, well, I'm going to be a stick in the mud because this is not my thing. Yes, type of thing. So kudos to you. That is
Absolutely.
that
Very
is amazing. And I actually think that's a really good lesson all around, is like for our listeners, for us, it's a good reminder. I do some things out of obligation too, and I wish I would.
Same. I mean, we all do, right? That is part of being human, but
Yeah.
there's a difference, I think.
So I like that. What would Marian do here?
That's
She would
right.
say. That's what
Yes, that's right. Be a MD.
that's what I would say. So, all right. Well, that is going to do it for us today.
Yeah.
Marian, thank you so much for sharing your story, your insight, and your honesty with us. This conversation is such a powerful reminder that understanding whether ourselves or others can be transformative in a lot of different ways. As part of the Big Read, we invite our campus community to continue engaging with A Little Less Broken. So to reflect, to question, and consider how we can create spaces where everyone feels that true sense of belonging. So thank you for joining us for this episode of Let's Talk Big. Keep talking big, everyone.
This has been Let's Talk Big. Catch Let's Talk Big anytime on the RSS feed or the Owens Outcome Plus YouTube channel. Be sure to like and subscribe. Join us again for Let's Talk Big, the big read with Jane Berger and Jen Hazel.